We are about to begin. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'll give you just a couple of seconds to settle in so we can begin the proceedings for today. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, before the program starts and we start the safety briefing, I'll just ask everybody to please have their phones off or on silent so we don't disturb the proceedings of today. And before we proceed with anything else, I will call up a colleague from the venue just to give us a safety briefing, and then we'll begin the program. Thank you. Okay, colleagues, I'd like to call everybody colleagues today because what we hear about is working together. So please don't mind me if I don't follow protocol and call you ladies, gentlemen, and by your designated titles. My name is Soku Sibia, and I'd like to begin the proceedings of today. You've all come through to the CSIR's Technology Commercialization Enterprise launch. It's an exciting day for us, all of us actually who are here. We're glad to see you. We're in a different venue. So generally the CSIR, is always in Pretoria. We're in Sandton today, and I see everybody is giving me Sandton vibes. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy about that. Not to waste any much time, I'd like to kick off the session with our welcome remarks and opening remarks from the chairperson of the CSIR board, Mr. Vuyani Chakhan.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Bladen Zimande, Director General of the Department of Science and Innovation, Dr. Phil Mjwaha, the leadership from the department itself who are here present. I saw the DDGs here. The CEO of CSIR, Dr. Tulani Dlamini, members of the CSIR leadership who are here present, distinguished guests from government, business, academia, industry, science councils, universities, and members of the media. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me start by recognizing the presence of the Minister and extend a warm welcome to the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Bladen Zimande. I would also like to thank the Department of Higher Education, Science and Innovation for its continued support for the work of the CSIR. Minister, we are honored by your presence here today, and we look forward to your keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, the program director has already recognized your presence at this event. We are thrilled to have time with you today to share some of the innovation and the breakthrough decision of the CSIR. After months of hard work and extensive consultation with stakeholders, I would like to officially welcome you to the launch of the CSIR's Technology Commercialization Enterprise. This is a CSIR wholly owned company set up to commercialize CSIR's intellectual property through partnerships with private sector, with entrepreneurs, innovators, venture capitalists, SMEs, and inventors to commercialize our technology. The CEO of the CSIR will give us more details later on after my speak. As a board, when we were appointed at the beginning of the year, one of our immediate priorities was the approval of the commercialization vehicle. We are gathered here today because the enterprise has been approved by the Minister. In his keynote address, the Minister will outline how this enterprise aligns with government imperatives, government strategies to grow the South African economy. As you may already know, the CSIR is a leading scientific and technology research organization that researches, develops, localizes, diffuses technology to accelerate socio-economic prosperity of South Africa. The organization's work contributes to industrial development, supports a capable state. It is committed to making a greater impact in industry and consequently to the economy. The commercialization of technologies and the innovation for industrial and social development is a powerful mechanism to achieve impact. As a board, we are clear that the fruits of scientific discovery and inventions must fall in the hands of the ordinary people, and this vehicle creates a platform for that kind of transition. Dr. Rachel Chikwamba, the CSIR Group Executive for Advanced Chemistry and Life Sciences, will present to us a suite of technologies from across our various clusters that have entered the commercialization rim. This will be followed by a tech talk and demonstration of the technologies. I urge you to take time to attend to some of the very brief tech talks as well as demonstrations in this exhibition. I have no doubt that the opportunities in this venue today will pique your interest. When you find them, then talk to us. With that said, I wish you a great day and looking forward to engage with you after all the formalities have been dealt with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chachana. Just to iterate what the chairperson has said to us, the CSIR's tagline is touching lives through innovation. And the scope of the work we do and our mandate is basically that, to create innovations, research, capabilities that make South Africa great. It's basically looking at solutions that, to the problems that we have in South Africa, and actually in the world as well. And today is really just a momentous occasion for the CSIR. I mean, we've got more than 70 years of building research, innovation. We never really talk about it. We don't, toot our own horns. I do so in my office, but we're not allowed to do it in public. But today is basically, telling everybody this is what we do. This is what we have on offer. We've been thinking about the problems that are faced in the country. We are thinking about, sustainability and where the country is moving towards in the future. And today is that day. We want to show to you this is what we are doing. We are thinking about all the problems that people are speaking about in the media, for example. We have researchers and capabilities that are amazing, world-class. The infrastructure is world-class. Our human capital, the researchers are amazing. Young, vibrant, diverse, and always looking for solutions. With that said, I'd like to call our CEO, Dr. Thulani Dlamini, to give us his address on why we're here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So cool. Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Blade Nzimande, the chairperson of the CSIR board, and members of the board present with us today, the Director General of the Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Phil Mjwaka in absentia, and his executive team, advisors to the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation. I saw Mr. Ngaba is here. Excellencies, heads of diplomatic missions, leaders of business, science councils, higher education institutions and other government departments, CSIR leadership and colleagues, those present here in person and those joining us via live streaming, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all and wish to express my most sincere word of gratitude to all of you for joining us this morning. Today marks yet another significant milestone in the history of this 78-year-old organization called the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, an asset that belongs to all the people of South Africa. The architects of the CSIR, and here I can count Dr. Hendrik van der Bijl, who had the idea of a science council 20 years before the CSIR was established, General Jan Smuts, Dr. Basil Schonland, had the foresight to realize that for South Africa to prosper, it needed to industrialize and diversify from its heavy dependence on our natural wealth, the so-called resource trap. In fact, it was Dr. Hendrik van der Bijl who created institutions such as ESCOM, ISCO, the IDC, and AMSCO, and of course was instrumental in the creation of a once thriving industrial complex called Van der Bijl Park. There was at the time a clear realization and understanding that South Africa's prosperity depended on our ability to innovate. This is the same message that the minister has been conveying to us every time that we engage with him about what is it that we are doing to ensure that the research coming out of our organization translates into real and meaningful impact with regards to its potential of driving industrialization within South Africa. So, Minister, what we are launching today is indeed a response to the challenge that you've put to us from the time that you took over the responsibility of leading this ministry. Hence, going back to history, the CSIR was established and given the marching orders to perform directed research and technological innovation that fosters scientific and industrial development and ultimately contributes towards improving the quality of lives of the people of South Africa. It was to do this in collaboration with partners in the public as well as the private sector. 78 years after its establishment, we still continue to build on the legacy of this organization. The journey of the CSIR has indeed been one that has been filled with hope, excitement, disappointments, challenges, and many, many successes. There is no doubt in my mind about the significant impact that the CSIR has made and continues to make in South Africa over the past 78 years of its existence. Here, I can mention examples such as technologies for protecting cash in transit, the protection of wildlife in our natural parks, technologies that improve the design and performance of our roads, helping our country understand and respond to the impact of climate change, using laser technologies, for instance, together with ESCOM, to repair low-pressure steam turbines to ensure that our power remains on, and providing low-cost broadband to rural communities and townships. And more recently, perhaps I can mention the work that we did to support the national response to the COVID-19 pandemic by manufacturing over 20,000 ventilators that saved many, many lives. And the list goes on and on. The 78 years of the CSIR can perhaps be grouped into 4 eras. The first era focused on the advancement of the 3 basic sciences of chemistry, physics, and mathematics. Those were the glory days where there were no constraints or limitations in terms of resources. The second era was the era of finding relevance and survival, where state funding was reduced, forcing the CSIR to develop its contract R&D capabilities. The unintended consequence, unfortunately, of this was less investment in SCT capability development. The third era was going back to science, building the set base with the rallying call of our future through science. The era that we are in now, ladies and gentlemen, can be characterized as an era of balancing science and impact. In our tagline, touching lives through innovation stresses the need to create impact whilst focusing on our core business, which is indeed innovation. In keeping with this objective, 4 years ago, we implemented a new strategy in our organization, a strategy focusing on a CSIR that makes a direct and meaningful contribution to industrial development in South Africa. Looking back at the past 4 years, I am pleased that through the amazing effort of all my colleagues at the CSIR, the support of the Department of Science and Innovation and our minister and our board, we have enabled the localization of 40 technologies. We have signed 110 joint technology development agreements with industry. We have supported 427 small and medium enterprises, and we have had over 92 staff exchanges with industry. We have also, in this period, more than doubled our income from the private sector. This is, of course, achieved despite the disruption that was caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Our contribution to industrial development as a CSIR happens through 2 forms. Firstly, through the research, development, and innovation collaborations that we have with existing enterprises. And secondly, through the translation of our intellectual property into viable enterprises. The second aspect is achieved through the licensing of our intellectual property to the private sector. And over the past 4 years, we have signed more than 30 technology license agreements with the private sector. We believe that there is significant room for improvement in this area, and also understand the huge potential that this has to transform our country and, of course, also change the future of the CSIR. Now, to realize this opportunity will require the creation of dedicated capacity whose sole responsibility will be the commercialization of CSIR IP at a pace and scale that will create the impact that we all wish to see. In other words, a CSIR technology commercialization enterprise. To achieve this, we've adopted an approach of creating a dynamic ecosystem of willing partners with shared values seeking mutual benefit. This ecosystem rests on three critical components. One, a strong intellectual property portfolio. And secondly, entrepreneurs with a sharp business acumen. And thirdly, a network of investors along the full value chain of technology commercialization. Hence, ladies and gentlemen, what we are saying is that the commercialization of IP is not just about financial resources. It is about creating an ecosystem of these critical elements, including, of course, the facilities that are required for incubation and acceleration of technology development and innovation. We have given this new enterprise a name that is fitting to its mandate. We've called it CSIR C to the power 3, pronounced C cubed. The 3 in the name of CSR C cubed represents the coming together of the 3 critical components of IP, entrepreneurship, as well as capital investment. It also represents our intention to collaborate, create, and commercialize. And more importantly, it represents our intention to address the 3 societal challenges that we all face of poverty, inequality, and unemployment. CSR C cubed will have full rights to transact with the intellectual property of the CSIR. It will work with entrepreneurs to create viable technology-based startup companies. It will seek investors to invest in these startup companies and also manage the CSR's equity and other interests in these startup companies. We cannot achieve this alone, and therefore, we truly and really need your partnership and collaboration. The decision to establish CSR C cubed was informed by a very rigorous exercise, which included learning from our international counterparts. The CSIR has a robust intellectual property portfolio made up of more than 190 patent families, which cover at least 35 technology domains. These patents are filed all over the world, including the major patent offices of the US, Europe, as well as Japan. I think this should give you confidence in the strength of our technical capabilities. We therefore extend an invitation to all of you to join us in monetizing this asset under terms and conditions that will create win-win outcomes for all parties in line with their appetite for risk. Our board has approved an amount of 100 million rands from the CSIR to be invested with our partners in startup companies that will seek to take CSR IP to market. We have ambitions to leverage this through your partnership to at least 10 times. We believe that the time is right for an initiative of this nature, and that this initiative supports our national science and technology policy, the decadal plan, as well as our country's ambition to reindustrialize. Furthermore, we think it will position the CSR fully to respond to its mandate of touching lives through innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Can you please have another round of applause? I'd like to call our Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Blade Nzimande, for his keynote address today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Ms. Sokusbia Sotobe. The Acting Director General, in the Department of Science and Innovation, standing in for Dr. Mjwaha, and that is Dr. Muope. The chairperson of the CSIR board, Mr. Vianney Jahana, all members of the CSIR board who are present here today. Let me also greet and acknowledge the CEO of the CSIR, Dr. Thulani Dlamini, and say to you, very well said indeed, your message. Members of the diplomatic corps who have joined us, distinguished guests from government, business, academia, industry, science councils and universities, the CSIR leadership, distinguished guests and participants, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It really is an honor today to address you at the launch of the CSIR Technology Commercialization Enterprise. I believe that this launch does not only present an opportunity to see the technologies the CSIR has prepared for commercialization, but also serves as an opportunity to engage in dialogue to see the road we traversed as a country in science, engineering, and innovation, as well as the commercialization of our technologies and our plans going forward. I must say, Chair, Dr. Jahana, and everyone who is here, I'm truly excited about today. I remember raising with the CSIR two things. It doesn't maybe affect the CSIR only, it affects our other entities, but our premier research entity in this field of engineering and new technologies is indeed the CSIR. I said firstly, how do we ensure that the research products of the CSIR are translated into IP, intellectual property, and also they are safe in the hands of the CSIR. So that then if the CSIR wants then to engage with partners in the private sector, we are also part to this. Strongly support partnership with the private sector in science, technology, and innovation. But also it is important for us as government, and you will see the value of this, of recouping something from our own products, because the aim of recouping is to reinvest that back into science, technology, and innovation. I'm thinking of a story, by the way, I didn't know about until I went to Budapest at the World Science Forum some 4 years ago. And we were told an interesting story that insulin for diabetics was discovered in a laboratory at the University of Toronto in Canada in 1928. And the professor who came up with this invention was only paid $2. Now, I started asking myself, how many billions of dollars has been made out of insulin between 1928 and now in 2023? And is there a slice for the University of Toronto to be able to reinvest? I would like that we have a model which we say, yes, CSIR must invent through its research products, translate into IP, partner with the private sector, but we need something also to come back so that we can reinvest. Under ideal conditions, we have a large private sector in South Africa. In fact, if we are smart in terms of partnership, we can double the meager 7.8 billion rands of the Department of Science and Innovation that I have. You can multiply that by 10. Given a dynamic partnership. That's why I'm saying I'm excited. But the second thing I raised with the CSIR was my concern about what I saw as possible leakages from research done by the CSIR, and some people who have been working there, they then move out with products actually whose foundation is the CSIR. Starting companies, yes, a good thing, but the CSIR doesn't have any claim on that. So today is your response. That's why for me, my excitement is that today's launch is truly and really a significant milestone in South Africa's science, technology, and innovation journey. I have no doubt about that. And it is an important aspect in taking forward the implementation of our 10-year decadal plan, as we call it, on science, technology, and innovation. I'll talk to it just now. This also is a key platform in building the public-private partnership. This is so central in driving our science, technology, innovation, STI, as we call it in short, agenda in South Africa. I must indicate that technology commercialization can contribute enormously to economic transformation through the introduction of diverse new products, services, and new industries in the South African economy. This can ultimately result in the creation of new products, as I have said, new businesses which can serve as a basis for full-scale localization and industrialization. In fact, science, technology, and innovation and what we are doing is so central in these two things. We want to localize because as South Africans, we are a gifted nation. And we're going to prove that, by the way, on Saturday in Paris. But we are not only gifted in that, we are gifted also as innovators, by the way. So that is why we must exploit this. I'm also pleased with the diversity of stakeholders attending this launch today and the prospects of deepening formal collaborations. So don't leave immediately after the formal proceedings. Go as we have the finger lunch, use that as an opportunity to exchange cards. For those who are more sophisticated, like my advisor, you must exchange your e-cards. Ladies and gentlemen, for us to fully comprehend the purpose of our event today, which the CEO, as well as the chair, have explained, we need, though, to remind ourselves of the mandate of the CSIR, which celebrates 78 years this year of research, development, and innovation. And CSIR is proudly one of the agencies of the Department of Science and Innovation. And that's why I'm standing here as the minister assigned with science for now. CSIR is a leading scientific and technology research organization that researches, develops, localizes, and diffuses technologies to accelerate socio-economic development and prosperity in South Africa. The organization's work contributes to industrial development and also supports a capable state. The idea of a capable state is very important. You can do many things if the state does not have capacity to play its role. The whole of society take a backseat. On the other hand, our Department of Science and Innovation has an important role to create an environment that enables society to thrive through science, technology, and innovation. To us, STIs are primary, or STI is the primary driver of economic growth, job creation, and socio-economic change in our country. In fact, governments, well, it's not just governments, it's the country's national development plan, which is our own detailed blueprint on how South Africa can eliminate poverty and reduce inequality by the year 2030, places science, technology, and innovation at the center of its development agenda. STIs is also a key enabler of the much-needed economic transformation, especially in the light of the emerging modern technologies, in which technologies and trends such as the Internet of Things, robotics, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence are changing the way we live and work. Chinese actually puts it very nicely, their definition or one aspect of defining STI. They say it is a very important component of the means of production of any society in supporting the development of major economic sectors of the economy using the STI. I listened to the CEO of the CSIR on radio also this morning, just outlining in what sectors is the CSIR involved. It's virtually all the sectors of our economy, modernizing them. And we must know as a country that without science, technology, and innovation, we can't really grow and develop our economy. Because with new technologies now, it's very important that we factor this in. That's why the CSIR is very important. Our white paper, for instance, which we adopted in 2019 as government, seeks to take advantage of the opportunities brought about by global mega trends, such as new technologies and additive manufacturing, amongst others. Our white paper, of course, is what is being implemented through our decadal plan. If I can come back to that, as I have said. Our decadal plan, 10-year plan, 2021 to 2031, builds on the existing foundations of our national system of innovation and pivots the system to address societal challenges and contribute towards accelerated knowledge, digital and innovation-driven, inclusive, sustainable socio-economic development. Our decadal plan emphasizes 4 primary societal grand challenges that we will seek to deal with, which we are facing. One is climate change. That's a big one. And mitigation, and also producing climate-resilient products at all levels, from human settlements to things that we use daily as South Africans. The second grand challenge is future-proofing education and skills. That's very important. Now, with this artificial intelligence, where a student can just go and ask, can you please write me an essay on the 5 key developments in South Africa and how to achieve. And as a lecturer, I was a lecturer, you know. I'm very sympathetic to my ex-colleagues, you know. Because how do you deal with that? That is just downloaded, and the smarter students, they just adjust here and there, and then that's it. So what is this, does this mean? How do we future-proof our education and skills? Not against technology, I mustn't be misunderstood, but to be able to advance an education system within the context of existing and new technologies. The third grand challenge that our decadal plan is dealing with is reindustrializing the modern economy. You know, sometimes you sit and listen to the news and you wonder, I'm listening to this story of these miners who are underground now. I don't know, it's the 3rd day today, here in Springs. Now we are debating, we don't know whether they are being held hostage or it's a sit-in. But I'm beginning to think that much as we need jobs, but it's inevitable that the future of mining is going to look very different, really. You know, not only because of what is going on now. I'm still going to go and talk to my trade union comrades to really explain to me, when I leave here, what the hell is going on? Why are more than 400 people locked now for the 3rd day underground? They sent 2 people to go and check what's going on. They never came back. Honestly, only in South Africa this can happen. Now, the 4th grand challenge is the future of society within, and also 2 STI priorities that we have prioritized, which is health innovation and energy innovation. We are not tackling the whole world. We are saying these are the grand challenges. In the area of health, for instance, we are involved in areas of medical device and diagnostic innovation, active pharmaceutical ingredients, technology innovation, and supporting health needs through vaccine research. I'm very pleased, by the way, to say we've now developed the capacity to be able to produce our vaccines locally in South Africa, including the vaccine for COVID-19. We hope it won't come back. But if it comes back, we're ready. We'll be ready with vaccines, but also vaccine development for South Africa and the African continent, forward-looking also to deal with pandemics. Scientists are telling us that within the next 10 years, we are likely to have another pandemic. I haven't come here as purveyor of bad news. It's our scientists who are telling us that. But maybe now, from the recent experience of COVID-19, we'll be able to deal with those better. Just as, let me say a few things about our Technology Acquisition and Deployment Fund, so that at least you go away here with some information on what on the government side we are doing to support science, technology, and innovation. We are intending to procure locally developed technologies and pilot new models for creating employment through innovation as demonstrated through the establishment of the Technology Acquisition and Deployment Fund. This fund is an instrument to drive innovation in the public sector and support locally developed technologies for deployment in government departments and communities. And there's absolutely no reason why we can't partner with the private sector on this score. For instance, during its pilot phase with this fund, this instrument has facilitated the deployment of 4 locally developed technology solutions to support municipalities, communities, and other government departments, such as users, and supported the creation of employment opportunities. Dr. Mope, we are piloting in some municipalities now with fuel cell technologies from hydrogen already. Number 1, military hospital in Pretoria, Tshwane. We are also piloting the use of fuel cell technologies. So we haven't just come here with rhetoric. We have come here with real progress that we are actually making as government to say, let's partner even more. Our universities are playing an exceptionally good role. I wish the media could cover more of this, because our media becomes very quiet when these good things are happening. Once the students start protesting, yeah, where is Nzimande, and so on. Please tell also the good stories, that outside of protests, there is a lot of research that we are doing with our universities, making us to be very proud. We're doing this also because we are prioritizing initiatives for inclusive development and intellectual property exploitation in ICT, renewable energy, and the circular economy. One of the things we are facing as the continent is this leakage of our own IP that gets taken to other countries and then get back sold to us. There was even an attempt, by the way, to patent rooibos tea in the United States of America. We fought that fight successfully, but how many other fights have we lost, even unawares, our own technologies? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. But I have a certain conspiracy in my mind. I hope what I'm going to say, well, I'm Minister of Science, I'm not Minister of Trade and Industry, so the markets won't go down, We were the first to produce an internationally acclaimed electric vehicle, the Jules. It's parked at Nelson Mandela University, Port Elizabeth, lying dust. We were the first ones. It won an international award. We didn't have R1 billion to translate that now into the production of this vehicle. And where did most of our scientists go? To the United States of America. And then who is the leading producer of electric vehicles? A South African-born person. But where could those skills have come from? I'm trying to connect one and one, but I don't want to affect markets. But that's proof that as South Africa, by the way, we produce top-class researchers in this country, in our institutions. Now, just on the role of the CSIR before I conclude, because I don't want to bore here by saying Too many things. I've already said the CSIR is one of our important entities. Make use of it by partnering with it. You know, my colleague from China, Minister of Science, unfortunately I heard that he has been reshuffled, you know? That's our life, by the way, in politics. You never know. I may be talking to you so eloquently today, tomorrow I'm somewhere else. And I'm going to China next week. I was going to see him. I'm now going to meet my new colleague. But when I invited them under BRICS, I invited BRICS ministers of science because we're hosting BRICS before the main BRICS event. He said, I'll come a day and a half before. And please facilitate, I only want to visit one place, the CSIR. That's Minister of Science from China. Because there is something they are seeing in the CSIR as the Chinese, around which they would like us to cooperate. But what about our own local South African business in relation to the importance of the CSIR? There is no industrial development without innovation. Let's forget about that. I even told the Black Business Council when they tend to invite me to their gatherings, I say, do you have a subcommittee, BBC, of science, technology, and innovation? They said no. I said, well, come, I'm willing to work with you to create a substructure for science and innovation. How can you be aspiring business when you know nothing about science? That can't be acceptable. I'll give the CSIR to help you establish your own substructure on science, technology, and innovation. By the way, science, technology, and innovation also is not just for big business. Yes, of course, big business has got resources. We need those resources and partnership. But STI is also for small and medium enterprises that can really thrive by using this. Science and technology must therefore ensure that the established parts of our economy continue to innovate. In conclusion, let me indicate that our Department of Science and Innovation has invested in various initiatives and programs, as I have outlined some of them, to promote and support the development and growth of industry in a variety of sectors. I should say that I'm more than confident that the CSIR's strategy and the launch of this C-cubed company of the CSIR will propel the organization to greater heights whilst it continues to improve the quality of life for South Africans. We must always remember that. Science is not science if also it can't be felt, its uses by ordinary people on the ground. I wish you all a very productive day, especially thank those representing the private sector, those seeking to invest in new technologies. Of course, I must thank our universities and everybody else who is here. Keep your eyes and ears open for mutually beneficial collaboration opportunities with the CSIR. And good luck to the Poke Poke on Saturday. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for our minister, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the cat's out the bag. You all know why you're here. It's for the technology commercialization enterprise, which is called CSIR C-cubed. Now we'll play a little video just to let you know, the thinking behind the name, the logo, before we do the big reveal. As scientists and as a science council, we're always known to be very serious, but today we try to bring the pomp and the ceremony as well, so I hope you do enjoy. We'll play the video and then we'll ask our dignitaries just to come in and unveil the logo.
A three-dimensional, cube-like design that is anchored by the letter C. Three-dimensional to capture the multifaceted nature of the CSIR's contribution and impact. A cube design that is solid and yet not locked captures our dedication to an openness to collaborate. A cube with 3 visible sides representing the tri-focus of collaboration, creation, and commercialization. These 3 sides also depict the 3 critical factors for commercialization of intellectual property, which are a solid intellectual property base, entrepreneurial capacity, and capital investment. A logo in 3 colors, the blue and the white used in the CSIR logo, indicating the close link with the CSIR's core values, and a turquoise accent that adds a more energetic hue to capture greater assertiveness and agility as is required in the competitive commercial environment. CSIR C Cubed. Collaborate, create, and commercialize.
I'd like to call our minister on stage, our chairperson, as well as our CEO and our GE to unveil. Our chairperson and the minister, please come to my left. Should we count as I think let's count. Let's go a 3, 2, 1, and then they will do it. All right, let's, okay. You know what, we are launching everything today. So let's all count. 3, 2, 1. Thank you for that. I'd like to call the CSIR Group Executive, Dr. Rachel Chikwamba. She is the Group Executive for Advanced Chemistry and Life Sciences, and she's going to tell us what kind of technologies and inventions actually reside in this new enterprise. Without further ado, Dr. Chikwamba, please come on stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Soku. Colleagues, mine is to whet your appetite to say what exactly is it that we have to showcase today. What is the golden nuggets that are in the C3 portfolio? And without further ado, this is, ladies and gentlemen, the C3 prospectus. It is the first of many. And if you scan the QR code, you will be able to actually go deeper into the book that holds the first 18 of our most advanced high-impact technologies. And you might ask, what sorts of technologies are these? We've got technologies that are anchored by patents. We've got technologies that are all supported by trade secrets that can be anything from, in the vanity moment here, my glasses, anything from know-how and technology packages, processes. We've got designs for plants, for systems and subsystems, for subsystems and systems. We've got service and service models. We've got tools across the board. So the question comes, how did we choose from the many innovations of the CSIR, the kinds of things that we put in the first book? And not mark my words, the first book, because there'll be many books that this dedicated capability will be putting out with technologies to go to the market. 2 key considerations were taken into account when we chose our first foot forward. First of all, of course, is market attractiveness. How attractive to the market are the technologies that we have on our shelves and in development? And what is the technology maturity, which speaks to our readiness to put these things out into service at pace and at scale? So we looked at, for market attractiveness, things such as market size, market growth rates, potential market share that one who takes upon our technologies could win. We looked at the investment that is required, and then we looked at the economic impact. But importantly, when we put out technology at the CSIR, of course, we want technologies that make money. We want technologies that make businesses competitive. But we also want technologies that make social impact to address the many challenges that we face as a society. With respect to technology maturity, on the other hand, we looked at things such as the technology readiness, a measure of maturity of technology, market validation of the technologies that are in the book today. Techno-economics, a technology can be brilliant, but if it can be cost-effective, it will not make good business. We looked at the time to market. This is a vignette of the consideration that we took into account. Of course, there are a lot more statistics therein. So, what is in the portfolio? We have here in front of us a health portfolio with anything from a liver screening service that takes into consideration the genetic makeup of African people and says, when you are going to develop and deploy drugs for us, will they work safely in our systems because of our genetic makeup? So that's the first one. We've got a cell phone-based technologies from advanced laser technologies, which can really, on the basis of a cell phone, as they say in the team, take the lab to the community and be able to detect infectious disease. We've got a portfolio of antibodies. The minister spoke about we want to localize active pharmaceutical ingredients. We have here pharmaceutical ingredients of a proteinaceous nature, what they call biotech drugs, the fastest growing category of drugs on the market. We have a suite of them that we've made locally, so available to license is a portfolio of the antibodies and the methodologies to make them, so that one can create a business that makes a portfolio, a suite of these things. When one thinks about some of the struggles and the challenges we grapple with in the health space, we know people with diabetes end up having kidney damage. People who are hypertensive end up with kidney damage. And one of the challenges that they have to go through, which is costly to the individuals and costly to the market and to government, is dialysis. When kidney disease is advanced, it costs about $500,000 a year to maintain a patient on dialysis. So can you imagine the value of a technology that looks at your genetics and looks at markers that then say you are likely to have diabetes, and this is how you're likely to respond to the condition. If you can detect that early before it is acute, we have a technology like that in our book. The next portfolio that I'm going to talk to is at the bottom, is manufacturing technologies. Right at the bottom there, those white and black pearls, that has to do with biodegradable plastics. Can you think about the challenges that we face in this day and age, where you say we find microplastics even in the clouds, in the air that we breathe? We are pioneering a technology that's available out there that is generating biodegradable plastics. Next to it is a technology to manufacture lactic acid, which gives us what we call platform chemicals that find utility in food, in cosmetics, in various chemical industries. We have that technology, we have the samples, we have the process to be able to do that. Up on the top there, we have that fancy-looking advanced equipment is equipment for advanced manufacturing. That's a high-powered system that can print parts using metal powders. And so there is a system that makes those parts, and then there is parts to be made. So that's a very unique opportunity for our advanced manufacturing industries. And that sliced out wall there looks very ordinary, but it's anything but ordinary. It is to do with green cement. One of the most polluting industries, as we know, is the cement industries. One of the innovations that we have on show today is our green cement. There is the prototype cement and, of course, the process to make that particular cement, to make our construction industries greener. The next picture that I am showing there has to do with a suite of Earth observation technologies. And so that very green one, I'm looking at Professor Moses Cho, speaks to how we use very advanced Earth observation technologies to create a service that provides information in real time to farmers to say, what is the state of play of things on your farm? What we have actually done practically with the service that we are offering here today is to work with farmers to observe their farms. And I could talk about one of the farmers that contracted people to plant for him. And because we can observe his huge stretches and huge tracts of land, we were able to tell him that the seeding in certain areas is not as it should be. The population density of your crop is not as it should be. You need to go in there, ask your contractor to revise what they're doing. We're able to monitor the performance of the crop. Is it going at the rate that it should be? We have taken that information and that practice of reducing that observation data, using big data skills, using advanced radar technologies and so on, to create a service that we're saying now we need a shaper to take forward. People know what I'm talking about when I talk about shapers. Shapers are those people that help people who climb mountains with their luggage. So it's thin air, but in that thin air, they carry this very heavy luggage and they help them to go up the mountains. Those are the kinds of entrepreneurs and jockeys that we're looking for. The economy is not easy right now, but we're looking for those rare individuals who can now take this precision agriculture information system and convert it into a service providing system for existing and emerging farmers. This is a very important sector for us. To the left of that green picture is a synthetic aperture radar, and this particular radar technology is one that finds utility in many places, in border control, in disaster management, and so on. And you can imagine what sort of opportunity there is in border control. Opportunity there is in disaster management is climate changes. We know that we're going to be facing many of these, and this technology will be required. We have innovated, we've created the technology, and we've reduced it to application. We need someone now, the shaper and the venture capitalist with deep pockets, to take this to the market and to put it into service. That synthetic aperture radar that looks like it's airborne right there is one that I am told is very, very good for observing the Earth, whether it's day or night, cloudy or clear. Can you imagine the utility of such a technology? And then that colorful, very pretty picture is not just a pretty picture. It's a very advanced phased array antenna technology that helps with weather forecasting in the short and in the long term. Then next to that is our defense technologies. Even in times of peace, we need to defend the peace. And in fact, we would like to revitalize our defense industries because they are an important contributor to our manufacturing sector. That particular technology that is represented by a little bubble with a helicopter in it is one that the team calls HOSFIN. They tell me that it is very capable of detecting small arms fire. You can detect when it's coming, but importantly, you can tell where it is coming from, and you can take measures to avoid it. Next to it is the wide array ground surveillance system, one that can find utility in situational awareness. You can imagine the types of circumstances that one could create an opportunity to safeguard things like infrastructure and so on and so forth, to safeguard our game in the game parks and so on. Then beneath it is what we call the gun turret. That one there that looks like it's a truck, and it is a gun that protects the user of the gun when they are in a theater of war. And then a particularly exciting technology for me is that one that is represented by the cell phone with a burst of light. What is all that about? It is about detecting gun-related crime. So what that particular technology can do is it can detect where the gunshot, it can detect the gunshot, but it can also detect where the gunshot came from. So it's a technology that you can imagine when put into CCTV cameras will really help in solving crime. And goodness knows that in our country, gun-related crime is rife. And we as the CSIR are taking a stand and putting a technology out there. We are inviting someone to come and partner with us to say, can we solve this problem together? And then the last in the suite is two technologies that are in logistics and fleet management. The first one that shows a fleet of cars is one where you can use it to detect and to track where your fleet of vehicles are. And you can look at also if you've got cargo and so on and so forth, you can detect the state of that. I will not go into the details of it. My colleague Eric Duve is waiting to do exactly just that at his stand. The last technology there that shows a person next to ships at a harbor is one that we believe is absolutely critical and timely. It is a technology that we use to berth ships so that we can bring them to dock quite efficiently. So, colleagues, this is a vignette of what is in our prospectus number 1. But maybe let me say a little bit more to really say why are they in prospectus number 1. If you look at that vertical axis, I spoke about market attractiveness. On the horizontal axis there, I spoke about technology maturity. And you see that the technology is represented as bubbles. So we look at technologies. The blue ones are health, the gray ones are manufacturing, the deep blue is logistics, and then that turquoise color like C cubed is Earth observation technologies, and defense and security technologies are in green. So when we look at this, if it has got high maturity and high market attractiveness, it's in that sweet spot in the top right quadrant right there, and we call it a value grower. It's high on both axes. When you then look at our acute kidney disease one, it's a smaller circle. What does the dimension of the circle mean? It speaks to what we believe is the size of the opportunity. But remember, we're talking about the size of the opportunity now. The size of the opportunity will change depending on market conditions, depending on how deep our pockets, how fast we can move into the market, and how we can really move into a gap when it opens. So that efficiency is required. On the other hand, we've got what we're calling high potentials. They've got a great deal of market attractiveness, but they're a little bit medium on the maturity. Here, we require a little bit of money to de-risk the technology so that we can move them from the high potentials to the value growers. And therein lies the opportunity for entrepreneurs as well as for our investors. In the bottom right-hand corner, we've got what we call income earners. They're not necessarily the most cutting-edge things, but they can earn the income, they're mature, and so we like them for that reason. And in the bottom corner is what we call the question marks. Now, a question mark does not mean a technology is doubtful. It says that the potential of that technology and the space in which it will find utility is yet to be unraveled. And in fact, some of the very cutting-edge technologies that are very advanced all start off in the question mark box. And depending on how much investment we put and how much ingenuity that we apply, we can move it very, very quickly to that top right-hand spot on the graph. So when I look at prospectus number 1, this is the health portfolio that I spoke to. There is the manufacturing portfolio. Look at the size of the bubble and the positioning when you're going to choose what you're going to champion. Of course, I'm a champion for all, so every opportunity is a brilliant opportunity. That is our logistics and fleet management technology in the deep blue, and that is where they lie in that landscape. And that is where our defense technologies lie, huge opportunities, mostly in the sweet spot in the top right-hand corner. So I'm very, very hopeful that we'll be having ongoing conversations, of course, on all the technologies, but particularly on these high potential technologies. And there, the green ones come in, And those are our defense and security. So those were our Earth observation technologies, many of which are applicable in any case in our defense space. But the green ones are our defense and security technologies. Now, this is book number 1. And you must be asking yourself that we have created a whole business to do this. Will this business now focus on commercializing 18 technologies? Commercializing 18 technologies is absolutely a lot of work. And we hope that they get on with it and that they'll be very busy putting this to market. But the reason why there is this dedicated capability to do only this is that the CSIR, as an innovation organization, is putting out an evergreen pipeline of inventions. We already have things that are not on this particular picture, but that could be in the next prospectus that we put out 3 months and 6 months from now. So if I were to proceed, these are not in the book, the ones that I am showing now. They are in the health space. These are all in our defense and security space. Look at that. You can only have so many in the book, but these also will be in the book. Look at those in manufacturing. We have a lot. And the point of this conversation is to say there is challenges and there is solutions, and we need takers to really shepherd these solutions into the market. Those are more technologies that are coming in. The orange ones are smart ICT. I could go on all afternoon clicking. But what is the point of this slide? The point of this slide is that CSIR C³ will never be hungry. There is enough technology in our war chest. So when we said we are coming out here today to put this business in place, we knew we could feed this. But remember the invitation of CSIR C³. It says, can you bring your deep pockets? And can you bring your agility and your championship and your shaper skills as an entrepreneur to take these technologies into the market with us? So ladies and gentlemen, we've got plenty for you to see that is being displayed here, and Soko will tell you exactly how this is going to work as we go from here, but the invitation is out to come and collaborate with us to create and to take these things to the market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chikwamba. Another round of applause. As Dr. Chikwamba has said, it's 18 technologies for now. 18 technologies for now, and we've got our researchers basically to tell you more about it when we get to the exhibition part. Just before we end the day, I'd like to call up our GE, Dr. Kaveh Naidu, to give our closing remarks, and then I'll let everybody know how the proceedings from then on will happen.
Thank you, Program Director. I know you must be restless to engage with the rest of the program and the colleagues at the CSIR, so I'm not going to keep you much longer. I'm Kaveh Naidu, the Group Executive for Business Excellence and Integration, and it really is an honor to be part of this program to make closing remarks in this formal part of the program. On behalf of the CSIR leadership, I would like to acknowledge the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Bladen Zamande, the Director General at the Department of Science and Innovation, Dr. Phil Mjwacha in absentia, the Acting DG, Dr. Mwape, the executive team from DSI, Chairperson of the CSIR Board, Mr. Chahana, members of the CSIR Board, Team CSIR, our distinguished guests from government, the diplomatic corps, business, academia, industry, science councils, and members of the media and colleagues. We have come to the end of the formal proceedings, but certainly not the end of our time today. In the spirit of C³, We're looking forward to engaging with all of you in the next few hours to collaborate, to create, and to carve out commercialization pathways. In his book, Where Good Ideas Come From, Stephen Johnson speaks about the importance of creating spaces where good ideas can give rise to innovation. And he further speaks about the importance of collaboration and coming together of ideas and expertise to realize game-changing innovation, all in line with C-Cubed, to collaborate, to create, and to commercialize. And I think we can agree that Team CSR has done a sterling job in creating an inspiring space to give life to C-Cubed this morning and to mark this momentous occasion in the history of this great organization, the CSR. So while our time this morning in the formal part of the program is coming to an end, we have no doubt that will at least inspire you to engage further this morning and beyond to chart a new course in the history of the CSR. As we look back on the decisions made decades ago by Van der Bijl, by Jan Smuts, by Sir Basil Schonland, future generations will look back on all of us to see what we have achieved in the coming years. The CSR is open for collaboration. I would like to take this opportunity to extend our sincere gratitude to all involved in making this event a successful one, the Department of Science and Innovation for its unwavering support. Thank you, Minister, for your inspiring words this morning, Giyabonga. All our guests who took the time out of their busy schedules. I know there's many things competing for your time, so it must be quite a stretch to bring you out to this beautiful setting. The sacrifices we have to make. The organizing committee, supported by various individuals from different portfolios within the CSR. Our CSR scientists, engineers, researchers, innovators who have been instrumental in showcasing the various technologies this morning. Members of the media, we greatly appreciate the support we have received from the members of the media in covering these activities. And last but not least, our program director, Soku Sabia, thank you for conducting this morning's proceedings with an aplomb befitting this great brand of the CSR. So in closing, I would like to encourage you to soak in this wonderful atmosphere, to relax, to enjoy the delicious food and drink, to engage with the various CSR teams here today, and engage with the members of leadership to carve out the potential pathways for the future, for the commercialization of CSR technologies to a better future. We invite you to be part of this great journey, and we trust you will have a memorable day. All the best, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Naidu. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the formalities. Now we're going into the nitty-gritty. And before we do that, I just want to explain to you what's on your program so you can understand what will be going on. We've set up 3 venues where we'll be having tech talks, where you get to engage with the researchers in terms of the technology that's available for commercialization. And they'll give you a talk. The session is 10 minutes long, and you will have an opportunity towards the end of the session to ask your Q&A. You'll be given 5 minutes to move between the venues. We have ushers set up for you. My colleagues are wearing black dresses with the CSIR values scarf, which is a multicolored scarf. So they will usher you between the different venues. You're more than welcome, to go to any venue. You may be here for something in defense, but have a keen interest in health. For example. So you can move around within the different settings, and our researchers are well poised to give you all the information that you need, as well as direct you in terms of inquiries later. We will do this until lunchtime, the official lunchtime, but the food and snacks, as Dr. Naidu has said, will be set out, so you can use the back of the venue for your networking, exchanging business cards, scanning e-cards. Yeah, QR codes. Yes. And if you did manage to also scan the QR code when Dr. Chikwamba was speaking, you will have full access to the prospectus as well. We're going digital. We are saving paper. So, don't mind why we're not walking around with papers. Those are days of the past now. Right? With that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm sure you want to have a leg stretch. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for coming to join us. I hope this is not the first time we're seeing each other, but that we actually are building new relationships. We're collaborating to create and commercialize. Thank you.
Dimensional cube-like design that is anchored by the letter C.